Ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, how much does one of those bad boys cost? I mean, we're talking about a vehicle that can defy gravity, escape Earth's atmosphere, and potentially take us to Mars. It's gotta be a pretty penny, right? Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let's get one thing straight. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Spaceships come in all shapes and sizes, from tiny satellites to massive rockets. It's like asking how much a car costs. It depends if you're talking about a smart car or a Lamborghini. So, let's break it down. We'll start small and work our way up. Small satellites, the pocket change of space. First up, we have satellites. These little guys are essentially self-contained spaceships. They can be as small as a shoebox and cost anywhere from a few $1,000s to a few million. Now, you might be thinking, a few $1,000? That's cheaper than my car. And you'd be right. But remember, these things are going into space. There's a lot of complex technology packed into a tiny package. A big chunk of the cost for small satellites is the launch. Getting anything into orbit is expensive, and we'll talk more about that later. But even without the launch cost, building a satellite is no joke. You're talking about high-tech components, precise engineering, and rigorous testing. Rockets, the heavy hitters. All right, let's up the ante. We're talking rockets now. These are the big guns that can launch satellites, spacecraft, and even humans into orbit. And let's just say, they don't come cheap. The cost of a rocket depends on a bunch of factors, like its size, payload capacity, and the complexity of its technology. But we're talking millions, if not billions, of dollars. To give you a ballpark figure, something like SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket costs tens of millions of dollars per launch. But here's the kicker, the cost of building the rocket itself is just one part of the equation. You've also got to factor in research and development, testing, and the infrastructure needed to build and launch it. It's a massive undertaking. The price of going to Mars. Now, let's get really ambitious. What about a spaceship to Mars? We're talking about a vehicle that can carry humans on a multi-year journey to another planet. This is where things get mind-bogglingly expensive. We're talking hundreds of billions, if not trillions, of dollars. And that's just for the spacecraft itself. You've also got to consider the cost of developing the technology, the missions, the life support systems, and everything else that goes into making a human mission to Mars possible. It's a staggering amount of money, but it's important to remember that space exploration is an investment in the future. The knowledge and technology we develop for Mars missions can have huge benefits here on Earth. The future of space travel. So, how can we bring down the cost of space travel? Well, one of the biggest factors is reusability. Rockets and spacecraft are incredibly expensive to build, so if we can reuse them multiple times, we can dramatically reduce costs. That's exactly what companies like SpaceX are working on. They've already made significant progress with reusable rockets, and they're aiming to develop fully reusable spacecraft. This could revolutionize space travel and make it much more affordable. Another key factor is innovation. By developing new technologies and finding more efficient ways of doing things, we can drive down costs. And let's not forget about the role of private companies. Competition can lead to lower prices and faster innovation. So, there you have it. The cost of a spaceship is a complex question with no easy answer. It depends on a whole bunch of factors, from the size and complexity of the spacecraft to the mission it's designed for. But one thing is clear, space travel is expensive. However, thanks to advancements in technology and the growing interest in space exploration, we're starting to see costs come down. And who knows, maybe one day we'll all be taking weekend trips to the moon. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep looking up.